This headlamp is the latest release from Wuben. This is the Wuben H4. And let me tell you what, this is one worth looking at. I've owned headlamps for over 20 years, used them out camping, hiking, bicycle commuting, mountain biking, just about anything you can think of. So I have had a lot, and I mean dozens and dozens of headlamps. And we're going to see how this one compares today. This innovative new design from Wuben that has dual emitters, dual buttons, motion sensor, and a price that surprised me. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to flip the camera around. We're going to go through some of the features of it. And then we're going to do some night shots. Had it out at the campsite. I've had this thing for a couple weeks. I know it releases today, but the folks at Wuben sent it to me a couple weeks before its release. So as you can tell, I mean, I've been using it quite a bit. And we're going to go ahead and see those night shots in the field. Then we're going to wrap it up with my final thoughts and whether or not I think this might be a good product for you. So I hope you'll join me. We're going to go ahead and flip that camera around and start going through the features and then get out to the campsite. All right, guys, this is the Wuben H4 up close. And right off the gate, you're going to notice it has dual emitters. One is a spot, one is a flood. And we're going to get into kind of the details on that in a second. So it's got those dual emitters. It's also got a dedicated, obviously, a red LED emitter instead of an RGB. And then it's got, in front of here, it's got some motion sensors. So that's the front of it. And you can see the head the head tilts forward on the mount. And it does come with, I don't know if this is the final strap. You'll note, by the way, you'll note this has been used. I've been using this quite a bit. Here's the first thing I'm going to say about the strap. The strap, I have a big head. I wear a size 8 fitted cap. Okay, so that'll tell you how big my head is. This is the first headlamp I've had that has fit on my head on a hat without hurting my head. Okay, so I've had all kinds of them, but obviously I have it kind of maxed out because the last time I used it, it was over my hat. I do have to bring it in a little when I use it just on my head without the hat. But the strap is nice. Again, I'm pretty sure this is the production strap, but it's got, a little rubberized here to hold it on your forehead, and it just slides in here. But let's skip that for a second and let's talk about just the light in general. Now, as I've noted, there's two different emitters. Here's what's cool about it. It has different buttons for different emitters. So here you're going to get there's your spot emitter, right? And by the way, it's indicating to me my battery's low, because I've been using the heck out of it. So there's your spot. Now, if we head over here, that's going to switch us over to your flood emitter. And then if we hold it down, we're going to get different modes, right? So that's cool. Now, this thing really did surprise me. And then if you hold down either one of them, you're going to go ahead and get your red emitter for that night vision. So they do have a couple different modes, as I mentioned. I mean, there's your high. Your low, I think it's around 15 lumens. I'd say that's about right. Medium, I would guess it's in the 3 to 400 range. And then your high is, on turbo, is 850, I believe. 850 lumens. Very fantastic little light. I have yet, and I've been playing with this like crazy, I have yet to charge it. We'll talk about that in just a second. I did mention it has a motion detection feature. I played with it a little bit. It seems to work where if you wave, you can put it in that mode, and you can wave your hand in front of it. It will kick the emitter on. I didn't use it that much. So just straight up, I'm going to tell you that's not a deal breaker by any stretch for me on either way. It's a nice feature to have, like if you had it hanging up on a tree, and you wanted that feature. Now, one thing that I thought was fantastic about this, and we're going to go ahead and take a look, is if you look on the back, we're going to go ahead and open it up. We're going to look at the battery. So let's go ahead and pop that open. You'll see that it does have a little bit of a grommet here, so it is water resistant. So when I pop this battery out, I want you guys to take a look at something. Do you see what I see? Yeah, this is a killer feature. Not only is the battery removable, but let's say you want this in the field, and you're going to be using it a lot like I do. You can take 3 AA's with you, and you've got backup power for your headlamp. This is one thing that I've not really used. I've had a couple of rechargeable headlamps, and I've stopped using them because of this, because the battery is fixed inside. I forget to charge it, and I don't got a headlamp, right? That is a no-go for me. I like them and I use them sometimes, but that's why they end up sitting in the the gear shelf or what have you, and I don't use them. This one has your battery pack that comes with it, and it is it's a lithium ion. It is 70 to 100 milliamp hours, so that's pretty good. I can tell you, I've been using this, like I said, for a couple weeks. I've yet to charge it. I popped it out of the box and I turned it on. I've yet to charge it. Battery is USB Type-C, so again, it's going to fit with all your normal standard chargers that everything has now. Thank you, Apple, for finally getting on board. But this really impressed me. When I saw this, I went, huh, you got to be kidding me. And then the Wuben rep sent me the info, and yep, sure enough, because I wanted to confirm. This is by far probably one of my favorite features about this from a utility standpoint. Now, again, I'm only going over this a little bit on the bench because, again, this is good. This is very good. This is good that this is a simple light that you can just hit a button and turn it on. And by the way, have I mentioned any mode that you're in, you can go ahead and get into turbo mode. And we're going to see that in the night shots because that pleasantly surprised me. Let me put it that way. But I like the interface that I could just hold down and get to a different mode, or I could just hit a button and get it off. That is cool. Or I can hold my button and I can get it red. The interface is very intuitive. And so we're going to go ahead and check this out at night, see what it looks like in the field, and then come back for the price and my final thoughts. All right, we have the Wuben H4 out here at the campsite, and I want to show you guys just how amazing this light is. So there it is this is in low. This is in low flood, and this is what I found when I'm walking around the campsite, when I'm looking at stuff. This has been fantastic for me, okay? This is what I've been using, okay? It is amazing. Now, we're going to go ahead and bump it up to medium, and you can see medium, it just really bumps that light up. Like, you can reach out a bit on flood, and it's got a nice warm temperature to bring out some details and the things you're looking for. I'm going to go ahead and bump it up to high, and you can see that high just really, I mean, my tent's out there at halfway decent distance. Now, here's what's really cool is if I'm on the flood and I'm on high and I say, okay, I think I want to see what more is out there, and I hit the spot, and I'm going to go ahead and bounce over to spot, bam, I'm already on high. So the spot, you can see it does not have that. It's got a little bit more throw, but it doesn't have that flood, obviously. Okay. So this is doing an excellent job for a headlamp. Now we're going to go ahead and put the spot on low. We got a very usable low spot. And then medium. Again, medium is probably, if you're on a trail, if you're hiking, I would say, and my buddy Randy said this, and I'm going to have to 100% agree with him. If I was out hiking, I would probably use the medium spot. I think that would probably be the mode I would use. Around the campsite, I'm going to go ahead and just bounce over. I'm going to use lower medium flood. I mean, it just does such a good job. It is, I'm really impressed with this light. And then again, if you hold down with those different modes, it's just, yeah, there's that flood. You can just see how crazy that is. And then the red, look at that red. That's an excellent usable red. If I'm looking at something in my hand, if you wonder when would I ever use red, well, if you don't want to wake somebody else up or you want to keep your night vision, okay? So excellent, excellent, excellent. Again, and then there's that beacon mode. Wonderful light. We'll go back to the review. Okay, guys, I'm out here at the campsite still and messing with the H4, and check this out. So I'm in, right now, if you can see, I'm in flood low, but if I double tap either of the buttons, watch what happens. Bam, I'm immediately in turbo. That is a fantastic feature. So if I'm walking and I hear something go bump in the night, immediately I can go from here, I'm walking around the campsite. Oh, I hear something in the woods. Boom. And that's both emitters on turbo. That is a fantastic feature. Good job, Wuben. Okay, as you can see, this thing, I just love it. I love that ability to be into turbo mode by at any point just going bam, bam, boom, and I have that immediate light. That is a very useful utility feature for me that I wish previous lights have had, because they have different button presses or different ways you have to flip the switch. When you really need that extra light, it's really nice to be able to just hit that. And by the way, if you see me moving around here, I am filming outside. There are bugs. They're biting today. Now, let's talk about price. When I got this again, Wuben said this to me. There was no money changed hands, et cetera, et cetera. There was nothing other than, here, we're going to send you this light. We'd love for you to review it. Cool. And that's been a couple weeks ago. I didn't know what the price was. And I guessed, when I was playing with it out at the campsite, when I was playing with it initially, I said to myself, I bet you this thing, with all this stuff, with the rechargeable lithium ion, with everything else, I bet you it's going to be around $40. And I would be okay with that. That would be an okay price for me based on what I've paid for their headlamps and what I've had in the past. It's not $40. The MSRP on this, no, it gets really good here. MSRP on this is $29.99. However, my Wuben rep emailed me and said that when it releases, right after release, they're going to have it for $23.99. $23.99 for this light with this feature. I'm 100% going to be getting another one, because, again, I have a lot of headlamps. I just have been struggling lately to find one that I really liked. I've been really loving the Petzl Tikka 2. I really like that light. But this one has some features that really, really have me coming back to it, so that I can, for that price, I can throw one and leave it in my bag and then have another one that's, hanging in the garage that I can grab when I go out with the dogs or something. This light just has so much to offer, that I really think that it's a great buy at that price. So what are the things I would change about this? Number one is, if you can tell from the casing and from the headband, it is getting a little dirty from use out in the field. So I'll probably order like a black one. I think they have 3 different colorways: black, I think there was white, and then there was a third one, and I'm sorry, I don't remember what it is. It was like I think it was like an olive or something like that. But they have 3 different colorways. I'll probably get the black for the one that I buy. The only other things that I would change, and again, I'm not going to knock them on this because this is such a good light. I would have liked the USB Type-C charge port to be on the outside. However, I can see why they didn't do it, because that would affect the water resistance. You'd have to have like a little cover on it, and those covers can wear out over time. I see where they were getting from that, so I can't knock it on that. It would be nice. However, I still got the 3 AA option. Or 3 AAA option. That's so nice. Like, I can't get over how cool that is to have both. Number 2, a friend mentioned this, and I'm going to have to agree with him. It would be nice to have some sort of lockout feature, so I didn't accidentally hit this while it's bouncing around in my bag. However, I've had this in my bag for the last week, and it hasn't turned itself on. So that's the Wuben H4. If you couldn't tell, I'm absolutely positively impressed with it. I do think for the price, for the $24, if you need a headlamp, this is a must buy. Just go buy this one. I've had a lot of different ones, and this one really is fantastic. If you want something a little smaller, again, this is like the Petzl Tikka 2 is a lot smaller than this. Again, doesn't have as many features, so you're trading off features for size. But I would definitely consider this. Yeah, I can't get over how good of a light this is. It's a great little headlamp. I would have loved to have this when I was bike commuting. This would be very useful, but it was very useful for walking around the campsite to have that flood on. That was mainly how I used it with that low flood when I was walking around the campsite. And it was so nice to be able to just tap it, to turn it off, or to double tap to hit that high mode if I needed extra light. Just such a nice feature. So that is the Wuben H4. And there'll be links to it down in the description for you to go ahead and buy it if you want one. Also, while you're down in the description, if you would consider subscribing, I'd love to have you back. I do a lot of this kind of stuff, and I would love to have you join me as I review more products. And while you're down there, I'd love to hear what you think about the Wuben H4, and if this is a light that could work for you, or what you would change about it. That really, 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 I would love to hear what you think. So go ahead and throw that down there. And finally, while you're down in the description, I've linked some local animal rescues and animal shelters here in the southeastern Nebraska and Kansas area. They would love your help, be it with your time, money, or even better, adopting a new best friend. However, if you have your own local animal rescue and animal shelter and you're not from the area, please consider helping them out with those same things. That's it for the Wuben H4. I can't wait to see you guys again here on Big Ben's Outdoors. Thank you so much for joining me.